World, are you listening? Are you watching? Let's make history together. Let's make crowdfunding history. Let's make this the biggest ever grossing film to get funds online. Let's make a movie that's going to kick ass, do it in style, fit for a king. By the fans, for the fans, for you.
Hello, this is Robin Cohen in Berlin. I recently interviewed screenwriter Ender Brogan about his groundbreaking crowdfund initiative for his comedy feature film, The King of New Mexico. Let's have a look back at the highlights of that interview. Good to see you again, Ender. I want to talk about your latest project because you're trying to raise $5 million to make a movie about Elvis Presley.
$3 million would make the film. $5 million would be a bonus. It's not exactly a film about Elvis Presley. The protagonist, the main character, is Rojo Gonzalez, is an Elvis tribute artist. So his father was a US American. His mother was Mexican, and he was born in the US, but his mother was 20 years old at the time. So she sent him back to the village in Mexico where he was raised by his grandmother, who was a huge Elvis fan. So he grows up singing for his grandmother. When his grandmother dies, he's 18, he goes to live in New Mexico. He goes to work as a car mechanic, but eventually he finds that, singing Elvis songs can actually make him a living, and he starts playing in the old folks' homes. So in the old folks' homes, the retirement homes in New Mexico and surrounding states, he is the number one performer. So he arrives home after his latest tour of 5 cities, and his wife leaves him. She's sick of him spending money on jumpsuits. He's 50 years old, she wants him to have a proper job, and then Rojo has to get a real job and give up the love of his life, performing, to get his wife back. And goes through an all-time low, he gets bullied at work, and he asks for help. He asks for divine intervention. He goes to church that evening. An angel appears in the form of Elvis Presley. I come from Ireland. I write with my brother Raymond, who is based in Ireland. In the movie, we refer a lot to real-life situations that happened to Elvis, and he sources that in giving advice to Rojo. I cannot say I'm an Elvis expert because I never met the man. I never had the pleasure. I think you write about what you know. And how can you write a film about an Elvis impersonator if you haven't gone undercover and been an Elvis impersonator yourself?
Absolutely.
Right? So, hey, you get a jumpsuit, I took singing lessons. You want to do something, you do it right. I can only go by what I've done, by what I've researched. And coming from a journalistic background, I have definitely done my research, and I've verified as much as I could, as well as I could, and I've read a lot of interviews and listened to a lot of interviews with people who personally knew Elvis. We're having a bit of fun, sure, but we're completely respectful to Elvis Presley and his memory.
What happens when you get to that target of 3 million?
Okay, when we get to 3 million, we know we've made the film. I've talked to US producers. We know it's going to take a minimum of 3 million to shoot this film in New Mexico. For every million we get, we will give at least $10,000 back to charity, possibly more, depending on how much money we get in. For 3 million, we might still get, a top actor, somebody who's interested, maybe a Nicolas Cage who's a huge Elvis fan, somebody like that of that profile. I'm split between Nicolas Cage and Will Ferrell. and Russell Crowe will be another one, maybe a Kurt Russell, an older. Kurt Russell's played Elvis before, I know.
Yes.
For Rojo Gonzalez, I would go for Benicio del Toro. But when we start hitting our targets, 3.25 million, we are going to unleash the greatest ever perks. We're talking about real perks. We're talking about super duper perks. And there will be exclusive editions. There might only be 2 available when we reach certain landmarks like 3.5 million, 3.75 million. True to Elvis, in true Elvis style, when he did things with style, and we are going to have perks with class.
And you're specifically aiming this at Elvis fans?
It's a film by the fans, for the fans. So the fans have a lot of input, even into scenes in the film, voting on the characters they would like to play the main roles, even giving the fans participation in the film with some of the perks that we will release when we get the $3.25 million. But it's not just Elvis fans. It's anybody out there in Indiegogo that wants to, see a good film being made. We got a fantastic story. It's about finding your true self, your true identity. It's about growing up at 50. It's about taking responsibility for your life, following your dream. And I think it could be an international hit for both young and old. It's a feel-good film that brings people together, and that's what Elvis did, and that's what this whole project is about. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome now the greatest red-haired Elvis tribute artist in the world. It's the King of New Mexico, Rojo Gonzalez! Let's make history together. Let's make crowdfunding history. Let's make this the biggest ever grossing film to get funds online. Let's make a movie that's going to kick ass, do it in style, fit for a king. By the fans, for you.